Welcome everyone to another episode of Let's Talk Windies Cricket. I want to thank you once again for tuning in and listening to my podcast and providing me with feedback. This in this episode we're gonna cover the West Indies Championship. Lots is happening in this championship. Some promising performances both by the bowlers and the batsmen. Some news about West Indies cricket. Where is it leading? Where is it going? So there's quite a bit to take a deep dive in. So we're gonna take a look at round two of the West Indies Championship. We're gonna speak a little about the governance reform. It's called historic. Okay, we're gonna talk about that. And then we're going to take a look at the 2025 schedule for both the men and the women. All right. So, getting right into the West Indies Championship, reminder that the defending champions, Guyana Happy Eagles, let's see how they performing. Okay, so here are the results of the matches that took place over the weekend. We have Trinidad Red Force, Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, destroying the Windward Islands volcanoes. Trinidad putting a massive total of 456 runs, and the Volcanoes only able to score 166 in the first innings and 114 in the second innings. Trinidad Red Force winning by an innings and 176 runs. Pretty embarrassing by the Volcanoes, if you ask me. I'm not sure what's going on there. Usually, they tend to be one of the teams that perform well in that format of the tournament. I'm not sure what's really happening at this point. My understanding is that Alik Afanez is not yet on the team. I'm not too sure. I'm not sure if he's carrying an injury or what else is going on there. But pretty disappointing. Um, Kevin Hodge was the standout batsman for this team. And from what I understand, he scored 100. So that just take out Kevin Hodge 100, and that tells you the state of the Windward Islands team at this moment. We also have Leeward Island Hurricanes taking on the Jamaican Scorpions. That was an interesting match. That game was very interesting, and Leeward Islands were the champions. They scored 345 in their first innings. Scorpions scored 320 in their first innings. That is very good to see. Another game where both teams going over the 300 mark. I like to see that. And in the second innings, Jamaica posted 170, and the Leeward Islands Hurricanes posted 156 for 5 declared. Well, 166 for 5. And the Guyana Happy Eagles, they won their games over the combined campuses and colleges. Both teams again getting over that 300 mark. Guyana put in 343 and combined campuses put in 375. So despite the lead that combined campuses and colleges had, they were not able to defeat the Guyana Happy Eagles, as the Guyana Happy Eagles bowled them out pretty cheaply in the second innings for 142, and Guyana Happy Eagles was able to get there the adjusted total of 168, given that there was a lead in the first innings with the loss of only 2 wickets. And finally, the Barbados Pride, they won their game massively by an innings and 54 runs against the West Indies Academy. Lots of runs being scored in that game. Barbados in the first inning scoring 581 runs for 9 wickets, calling a declaration on the Academy. They, in pursuit of that chase, scored 249 in the first innings, and they had to do the follow on and was only able to get to 288 in the second innings. A little better, but they fell short of that 300 mark in both innings, which shows that the academy has some work to do there. Okay, let's keep the tough batting going in all the rounds where teams are posting 300 plus runs on the board. That is what we want to see for the growth of our cricket. I hope that the Windward Islands Volcanoes will be able to improve. It has not been a good show so far in the first two rounds of the tournament. They have a lot of work to do. Not many persons standing up with the ball or the bat, and we hope that will change soon. So let's take a look at some of the performances by the players and how things are going so far. So before we take a look at the performances, let's look at the standing. Okay, so the standing now at the end of round two, Leeward Island Hurricanes, after playing two games, have two wins. That's pretty good for Leeward Islands, and leading the table with 45.4 points. Guyana Happy Eagles not too far behind. It's almost a tie if you ask me, with 45.2 points. And Trinidad and Tobago Red Force with 44.4 points. All three teams already have two wins, no losses. Then we have in fourth place Jamaica Scorpions with 29.4 points with one win, one loss. Barbados Pride with 28.6 points, one win, one loss. And the last three teams, combined campuses and colleges, Windward Island Volcanoes, West Indies Academy, have lost both games with 7.2, 5.6, and 4 points respectively. So a lot of work to be done by those three teams at the bottom there. And we expect to see a drastic increase in performance in the coming week or two. So, who were the top performers in after two rounds of play? So, I have this graphic here which shows the most runs, and I decided to show the number of innings that are played by the players instead of the number of matches, because I believe the innings tend to give a better picture of what's going on. So, leading the runs table, we have Jason Mohammed, the veteran from Trinidad and Tobago, with 279 runs. He has scored two hundreds in two innings with a high score of 176. So he scored 176 in the first game and 103 in the second game. All right, so that's very impressive by Jason Mohammed, and he's showing some level of consistency. Let's see how well he will perform in the next game. So far, he has a 100% conversion rate, meaning a batsman who gets past 50 runs and taking it over to 100 runs. So right now, Jason Mohammed has gotten over 50 twice, and he's taking it over to 100 twice. So he has a 100% conversion rate and a 100% consistency rate. So these are just my metrics, but the conversion rate is well known, but I'm adding a new metric here called the consistency rate. So the consistency rate is how often the batsman is able to get over 50. Okay? And the conversion rate is how often the batsman is able to get over 50 and get to 100. Okay? So Jason Mohammed right now has a 100% conversion rate and a 100% consistency rate. And why I'm adding this particular statistic is because I believe that at the point where West Indies is at now, in order for us to maintain a high level of competitiveness with the other countries, we need to have players who are consistent, which means they are in a good, they experience a good moment of form. Okay, if we can capture them at those moments, and install them into the team and give them that opportunity during that period, I think we stand a better chance than, because we don't have the luxury to pick and choose and pick and choose and pick and choose and give players long spells to show the class, where players are on the team, not in form, but still being on the team just because we don't have the luxury for that, as far as I'm concerned. If we are going to compete with the best teams in the world, we need to have our players performing at a high level of consistency for a long period of time. And I'm not saying that we should be putting every new person that comes along with some nice looking stats into the team immediately. That's not what I'm saying. But we can deduce that a particular player has the temperament to do well based on those two factors: the converge, the ability to convert, and the ability to be consistent. So we're looking for high level metrics here. All right. Then we have John Campbell, another seasoned cricketer. He's not new to the senior team. Um, he was there for a while, but was not able to maintain again the level of consistency that was required at that level. He is in second place with 258 runs after playing 3 innings. He has a high score of 128, 250s, and 100. So that means out he has a conversion rate of 43%. So he had three chances to get to 100. He only got there one time. So he has a conversion rate of 43% and a consistency rate of 100. Okay? So that's how I'm going to be looking at this, and that's the kind of metrics I'm looking for. A consistency rate of 100 and a conversion rate of 33%. Then we have Jamal Hamilton from the Leeward Islands. He has not gotten many opportunities for the senior team. I think they've taken him on some tours here and there, but they've not gotten a good streak at the senior level. He's in third place with 233 runs after playing 4 innings. He has a high score of 93. He has two 50s. So he has a conversion rate of 0% and a consistency rate of 50%. And that is probably a good sign as to why he's not been able to cement his place on the West Indies team. And I know this is only 2 matches, and I'm already making those determinations. But let's see how this thing spans out over a few matches where those players fall within those metrics that I'm bringing out here. We have Jermaine Blackham, a seasoned senior player who's been dropped from the team. He's in fourth place with 214 points, with a high score of 109. He has 150, 100 um, in 4 innings. So he has a conversion rate of 50%, and he has a consistency rate of 50%. Okay, so he had two opportunities to get to 100. He got there one time, and out of 4 innings, he got to 50 at least twice. So he has a 50% conversion and a 50% consistency rate. For Jonathan Drakes, that's a new. I won't say he's a new player. He's been around, not at the international level. Those who've been paying attention to regional cricket may have heard of him. He's not a youngster. I would, in terms of cricket, but he's in fifth place with 213 runs after 3 innings. He's had the highest score of 117, 150, 100. So that means he has a conversion rate of 50% and a consistency rate of 66%. Okay, so far so good by our batsmen. Not enough data to make definitive statements and judgments on the players, but it's a good look at what's to come, and I'm happy to make all of those analysis on the players' performances. We have Craig Bradford, hey, captain, is right in there. in sixth place, 212 runs, and he was able to get in the top seven after playing one inning, which means he has a top score already, the highest top score in the tournament of 212 runs in his very first innings of coming back. This has generated a lot of talk online. A lot of persons has been making remarks as to Bradford's ability to easily score 212 runs in his first match after returning from Pakistan, um, and seeing how horrible things have been for him over the past year and a few months. Okay, so, and I have my own thoughts on that as well. I might talk about it later in this podcast. And in seventh place, we have Tevin Imlak, our debutant, who wicket kept during that Pakistan game and put up a good show for himself. He had a highest score of 126 not out for a total run of 206, and he accumulated that in after playing only two innings. So Craig Bradford has a 100% conversion rate and a 100% consistency rate, but that don't mean much because he only played one game. Um, and Tevin Imlak also has a 100% conversion rate and 50% consistency rate. So these are promising signs, um, given that at least two of our batsmen on the current senior team are making themselves heard and known immediately upon arrival and have found themselves in the top seven or among those who have already scored over 200 runs since the tournament began. And of course, we have some seasoned men in there, such as Blackwood, um, Campbell, Jason Mohammed, Hamilton, have all been on the West Indies team before. The only person that I don't think has gotten an opportunity to be on that team is Jonathan Drakes. Okay, let's see how he performs throughout the rest of the tournament. Okay, so let's take a look at the bowlers now. In the bowling department, and as we said in the last episode, that the majority of the bowlers who, if not all of the bowlers who were in the top five, were spinners. And that has not changed, save for only one bowler in this top seven that I've put in there. We have Kyrie Pierre topping the list with 21 wickets after four innings of play. That's about 5 wickets per in. 5 wickets per inning. That is some pretty good bowling there, if you ask me, by Kyrie Pierre. He has a best inning bowling figure of 8 for 27, and followed by Joshua Bishop, who's currently playing for the Windward Islands Academy. He has a total of 14 wickets after 3 innings and a best figure of 7 for 85. In third place, we have Rakim Cornwall from the Leeward Islands. He's played 4 innings for a best of 4 for 41 and 13 wickets. All three of those guys are spinners. In fourth place, we have Verasamy Pomal from Guyana, who has taken 10 wickets in 4 innings with a best of 4 for 41, same as Cornwall. Then we have Richie Locknoff from Guyana, who has taken 9 wickets with a best of 5 for 23 after 4 innings. We also have here the first non-spinner in the top 7, Ronaldo Ali Mohamed from Guyana, who has 9 wickets with a best of 3 for 56 and only and facing in 4 innings. Sorry. And we also have Hetemari Redhood from Jamaica, who has taken 9 wickets with a best of 7 for 72 and also played 4 innings. So the bowlers here are looking pretty tight. All spinners, many of them are spinners, not all, but say for one player, the pretty much all spinners, and that's concerning. Where are our pacers? Why are the fast bowlers not taking wickets? Is it because our batsmen in the Caribbean are just way more comfortable with pace bowling, and because the quality of the pace bowling and the speed by which those bowlers bowl here in the Caribbean are not up to what those batsmen are accustomed of facing on the international scene, and hence they're able to cope with it better down there? I do not know what's going on, but right now the spinners are absolutely dominating, and maybe that's why a lot of teams tend to play two spinners when they play against West Indies, because they understand that we are not a strong team against spin. And someone asked the question, did the spinning academy or consortium that was held in January is benefiting the spinners more than the batsmen? I guess that's an analysis for West Indies cricket to do throughout this tournament. As you can see, none of the bowlers in this lineup, con- contrary to the batters, are currently on the senior team. So, is that an opening for these guys to put their hands up and says, "Look at me"? Granted, I don't think many of those who are on the senior team have played um, many matches. So let's see, that might change when those guys come through and play a few matches. But we'll be monitoring their progress throughout this tournament. So moving on, as I mentioned, Kyrie Pierre had an innings best of 8 for 27, and that was after he took 4 wickets for 17 in the first innings, for a total match wicket haul of 12. Yeah, that's high quality stuff we're talking about here. But then again, it was against um, a Windward Islands team that has been struggling. But let's see. I don't want to downplay the bowling performance. Um, you have to do well against what's in front of you, and somebody might say, I hear what you're saying for Kyrie Pierre, but you're gonna sing a different tune for for Bradford. Jomel Warrican, he took 6 wickets on his comeback for 104 runs. That's a lot of runs against the West Indies Academy on his return to the championship after a successful series against Pakistan. And then we have the regional beater, Craig Bradford. Scored a double century against the West Indies Academy in his first innings on. Yeah. So let's take a pause there for a little while and discuss this. Craig Bradford has not done anything for West Indies in the past 18 months. Okay? Struggled in Pakistan. Looked like he didn't know what to do with the spin. Okay, in the final inning, he was able to master 50 plus runs. Comes to the Caribbean and dominates, absolutely dominates the West Indies Academy bowling, and putting up a double century in the first game, in his first game. I would have loved to see even half of that being scored within the past 18 months by Bradford. And what troubles me about this is, because he's performing like that at the regional level, you cannot ignore him. You cannot ignore his selection into the senior team. And I personally believe that it's time. We are at a crossroads right now with Bradford, where it's time to start looking for the next opening batsman that can sustain West Indies for a long period, just like he did. He sustained West Indies for a very long time at that position. But like every other cricketer, we reach a point where we can no longer do it the way we used to do it before. So I'm excited for him. I hope he could get some form that helps the team. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, do it against the big teams. on the international scene. Okay, and I'm gonna pay attention to when you meet a stronger bowling opposition such as Trinidad or Barbados, Trinidad or Guyana, and see how you perform there. I'm gonna pay attention to that because I want to see if this is really Craig getting back into his old ways, um, and being dominant and taking that form. It's a pity that the test match is so far away, but hopefully they could sustain it all the way through. All right. So apart from those guys who made the headlines in the last round, let's take a look at the other players who've all contributed one way or the other to the team by scoring hundreds. And we've had what, 1,200 so far in the tournament? By 12 unique players scoring hundreds in the tournament so far. That is pretty after two rounds. That is pretty good. Pretty good to see. I'm comforted by what I'm seeing so far in the tournament. Um, yeah, we have Jason Mohammed who's got two centuries, as we said earlier. John Campbell with one, Jermaine Blackwood, Jonathan Drakes, Craig Bradford, Tevin Imlach, Cyphus Cooper also has a century, and you guys might want to check this guy out. Callan Bowen Tuckett, he's a 20-year-old from the West Indies Academy. He scored a century. Kyle Corbin, Kavim Hodge, Kevlon Anderson, and Jai Gooley. Some names I know you probably have never heard. I was in the same boat too, such as Jai Gooley, Kyle Corbin, Cephas Cooper, Karen Bowen. I have never heard of these guys before. And I'm happy that those guys are performing and giving us something to talk about and to tell us, hey, I exist and I can play some cricket. But it's refreshing to see so many guys scoring 100. I'm really proud about that. Tell me what you think. Are you excited to see so many of our players scoring 100? Does that say something about our bowling? I don't know. You be the judge. Um, how about the bowlers? How are they doing? How many of them are fifers? Kyrie Pierre has two so far. Joshua Bishop from West Windies Academy. Pay attention to this Joshua Bishop guy. Not only can he bowl, he can also bat. So pay very close attention to this guy. What I saw in the match was promising. Put it that way. Richie Locknoff from Guyana has one. Tamari Redwood, Jomel Warrican with that sixer. Jaden Walsh. Hey, look who is there. Jaden Walsh. He has a fifer so far. Shane Holder, Matthew Ford, and Kenneth Demba. Once again, every single one of those players are spinners except for Matthew Ford. Okay? This is not good enough from a West Indian point of view. This is not good enough. Where are our fast bowlers? Where are the quality that we've come to expect and admire from West Indies cricket among fast bowling? It's just not there anymore. We just don't have quality fast bowling. I'm very worried moving forward. Okay? Because Joseph is there playing all formats of the game. I don't know if he can dedicate himself to be a high quality test bowler. We do have Jaden Seals who is a high quality test bowler, but we need more than just two. Okay? We were notorious to have four high level fast bowlers for many years. So I want to see we have a stockpile of quality fast bowlers to introduce into the team because the stockpile we have now has not lived up to the potential that we expect. I remember the Holder guy, not the former captain, but the other hole I think it starts with a C. He he didn't live up to the expectations. We have the Anderson guy, I believe. He also did not live up to the expectation. Um, there were a few others that were tested. They just didn't live up to the expectation of Test cricket. And so I'm happy to see Matthew Ford is doing well, and I hope he could continue because we really do need a few more fast bowlers in our lineup for West Indies cricket. All right, so let's take a break from the championship for now and let's move into the regional news. Historic governance reform going on at West Indies cricket, and some of the two, well, I'll go with two of the main points highlighted in that reform was one to increase the term of the president and the vice president from 2 years to 3 years. That's the first thing they did, and then to increase the to limit the terms that the president and the vice president can remain in power for. So, in other words, no longer a term lasts for 2 years, a term will now last for 3 years, but you can only go on for 3 terms. Okay? Once you've done 3 terms as a president or vice president, you need to step down. So, in other words, a maximum of 9 years of service at either of those positions. And from what my understanding, the changes will take place in March of this year at the next general election. The president Sherlock had to say this: for decades, I have championed term limits in leadership, ensuring fresh ideas and new energy at the helm. I fought for this principle as president of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the Windward Islands Cricket Board, and I stand by it today. While the decision was not unanimous, there is no division in Cricket West Indies. Okay, then why did you have to mention that? Every territorial board stands united in one common purpose: to strengthen our organization, uphold transparency, and secure a brighter future for West Indies cricket. We move forward together, committed to the growth and the success of the game we all love. Okay, so that were the words of the president, Shalom. All right. I don't know what it mean. I don't know why he had to bring up the anonymous, that it was not anonymous, and then go on to say that there is no division. If it was not anonymous and you felt the need to say that, it's because there is division, as far as I'm concerned. And otherwise, why bring that up? No one asked you. So, well, I don't know if they, I don't know if it was not asked. But those were the words, and I mean, I'm not a. I guess this is not an election process, but my opinion is simple: that anything that has to do with an election process, um, there should not be any limits. There should not be any term limits. Um, I can understand the length of time for the per term, but in terms of term limits, as long as there is an election involved, as far as I'm concerned, should not be there should not be any term limits, because it should also always be what the voters want, regardless of how long they want that person to be there for. I can understand the arguments against it. I'm not gonna downplay those arguments. I think some of them are valid, but I'm a bigger believer in letting the process of what the voters in that election process wants versus forcing thing on them. Okay, so that's my that's my 2 cents to that. It's a philosophical thing for me, and that is just how I see it. Okay, So I'm not gonna bash term limits. It's just not something that aligns with my philosophy on how I see it. Okay, but it is what it is. Anyway, moving on to the 2025 schedule for the men. Very compact schedule for the men. In May, they're gonna be start off with a UK tour where they're gonna be playing 3 ODI matches in Ireland. Okay, from May 21 to May 25. We're gonna have 3 ODIs against England May 29th to June 3rd. 3 T20s against England June 6th to the 10th, and 3 T20s against Ireland June 12th to the 15th. Not sure why they didn't just play the ODI and the T20s against Ireland before going and play England. I'm not sure. Maybe there was an issue with the fixture or a clash in the fixture. All in all, it's good cricket. I'll be looking forward to those games, and I'm expecting West Indies to do well against Ireland, although both Ireland and England in the UK have proved to be challenging for West Indies. Then we're gonna have a home tour against Australia in June 25th to July 16th. We're gonna be playing 3 tests against Australia. Those tests will be played in Barbados, Grenada, and Jamaica. And we're also gonna have 5 T20 matches against the same Australia at home, ranging from July 20th to July 28th. And those matches will be played at Sabina Park and the Warner Park, so Jamaica and St. Kitts. Okay, so the fans in those islands can enjoy some exciting cricket, and it's nice to see cricket back in Jamaica. I gotta say, I like the fact that over after many years of not having any games over there, cricket is finally heading back to Jamaica. And we have Pakistan in July is also going to be coming home to play 3 T20s and 3 ODIs. Those games will be played in the T20s will be played in Florida at Lauderhill, and ODI will be played at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy in Trinidad. Okay. From September 21st to December 23rd, that would be after the CPL. So the Pakistan is just before the CPL, and the Asia tour is right after the CPL, which range from September 21st all the way to December 23rd. West Indies will play 2 test matches against India, 3 ODIs against Bangladesh, and 3 T20s also against Bangladesh. That will be followed by a full tour in New Zealand, where West Indies will play 5 T20 internationals, 3 ODIs, and 3 test matches. That New Zealand tour will be an interesting tour because I believe the New Zealand team is kind of going through a transition, if you want to put it that way. You know, they trying to find their feet again. I remember back in the 90s, we used to crush that team over and over. Not anymore. They would crush us easily these days. So, but they're going through a transition, a slight transition period at the moment. So it'd be a good opportunity to go there and test our strength against the New Zealand team. So that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. Oh no, sorry, I forgot the women's schedule. My apologies to all the women out there. The women's schedule, they would start off in April, so they got a break, some break to train for the qualifiers, which they should not be. Ladies, come on, do better next time. Don't be like the men. We should not be qualifying for those tournaments. So the ladies will be playing the World Cup qualifiers from April 4th to the 19th. And I trust that the ladies will be able to succeed and perform well and make it to that World Cup in September, October. In May, they're going to go to England and stay there till June the 8th, May 21st to June the 8th. They'll be playing free T20s and free one day internationals. That will be followed swiftly by a home tour. They're going to be inviting South Africa to come over, play free ODIs from June 11th to the 17th. So they're going to play in that last ODI in England on the 8th. And then 3 days later, they're going to be playing against South Africa at home in Barbados at the Free W's Oval. And they're going to be also playing free ODIs from June 11th to the 17th and free T20s from June 20th to the 23rd. And as I mentioned earlier, they will also have to the play the World Cup if they qualify, that is, in September, October, and hopefully that West Indies can find something else for them to do in November, December to end of the year. So pretty packed schedule, especially for the men, and I'm all there for it. I love my cricket, and especially West Indies cricket. And I hardly ever miss a match unless under excruciating circumstances. And even under those circumstances, I record the game. So, yes, this is it. And I'm looking forward to the next round of the West Indies Championship for the tournament. All right. Don't forget to like and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen, and continue to provide me with your feedback. And if there's anything else you want me to touch on for the next episode, please let me know. Thank you.